according to the media. But don't worry, Trump's dividing the nation, not the media. This extends to college campuses, this sort of mentality. Who's dividing the nation? It's very funny. There's a letter that was put out suggesting yesterday. I spoke at the Ohio State University yesterday, and there's a letter that was put out by an Antifa-associated group in which the Antifa-associated group basically suggested that I was divisive. They spelled divisive, D-E-V-I, which is not how you spell the word divisive. So I'm mostly divisive in my insistence on proper spelling. In any case, Antifa said that I was divisive, and then they showed up, outside the lecture, and the lecture was not disturbed, so they have every right to do this, obviously, and fine, if they want to do this, go for it. They showed up outside the lecture where they chanted F. Ben Shapiro, and also chanted John McCain's dead and Reagan's dead. Really nice folks, these members of Antifa. There's a journalist, kind of a YouTube journalist named Fleckus, who showed up at the rally outside and asked a few pointed questions to members of this rally.
Are you guys for or against Ben?
Against Ben.
Do you think he should speak tonight or no?
No, not at all.
What about free speech and the Constitution? How does it work?
That's a good point, but he shouldn't be allowed to have free speech if he's going to preach the kinds of things that he preaches.
Are you for or against Ben Shapiro? Well, what are some of the things that you're talking about, though? Specifically, I just mean what he said.
I don't know what he said specifically.
Okay. Do you know any quotes or anything?
I don't know what he said specifically. I just don't agree with his platform and his party platform.
Are you for or against Ben? Are you for or against Ben?
Against him. I don't want to talk to you. I don't talk to you.
Okay. Are you for or against Ben?
Against Ben Shapiro? Yeah.
Against Ben?
Yep. I'm against Ben Shapiro because I mean, it would take a while to describe everything that's wrong with him.
Protesting or for Ben?
I'm just trying to get through the restaurant.
Oh, just trying to go to the restaurant.
KKK, no fascist USA.
No fascist USA, as he tries to silence me from talking to people. Nice. Do you think he should speak tonight or no?
What?
Do you think he should speak tonight? Does he have the right to speak under the Constitution, you think?
I mean, like, sure, he has the right, but we have the right to protest against him. So
they're yelling, "Shut Shapiro down." Do you agree with that?
yeah, I agree.
Shut Shapiro. That works for me. Who's Ben Shapiro? Why is everyone upset?
He's a transphobe and a racist and a kind of a Jewish. That's all.
What has he said that you don't agree with?
Everything he's ever said, basically.
What's going on? Ben Shapiro's giving a speech here?
He's supposed to be speaking here.
Well, why is everyone against him?
Because elimination politics is a hateful thing, and he doesn't believe that people should be allowed to live.
This past year, the Ohio State University, which is a nonprofit state university, made $1.1 billion in profit. And at the same time, they're raising tuition on first-year students. They're not decreasing tuition for anyone, and they're not paying workers a living wage. So what Young Democratic Socialists at Ohio State are doing, we're providing a positive vision where we take that money, we give it to the workers, we give it to the students, decrease tuition, and that is to counter Ben Shapiro's bigotry that he espouses. And that's what that's what YDS at OSU is doing today.
What are some of the things that Ben Shapiro said that you don't agree with?
I would like to get this one statement in.
Okay.
It's people like him and Trump who are inspiring people to commit murder in this country against people directly impacting my family, such as the Jewish people that were murdered in Pittsburgh.
You think Ben Shapiro's inciting that?
Yes.
How? The guy in Pittsburgh was against Trump, wasn't he?
No.
You didn't think Trump was hard enough on you?
So solid stuff from the protesters. They're not the one, but I'm the one who's divisive. I love this. This is an email that was posted by the Moral Scholars Program Student Advisory Council. They said Shapiro's rhetoric has the potential to threaten the emotional and mental safety of much of the campus community. They said that apparently one of the complaints is that no one should address a person by the pronouns they've chosen for themselves, which is not something I've ever said, actually. What I say instead is that you cannot force me to use the pronoun that you choose for me to use for you. That is not a thing that happens in a free country. But I'm the divisive one. Again, and when it comes to people who are divisive, I think that the media has a lot. Listen, I'm not saying Trump isn't divisive. He is. But the media are extraordinarily divisive. The people on campus who are divisive are not people like me. The fact that one side is being called divisive while the other side's divisiveness is being ignored is kind of a problem. Okay, well, time for... I am glad that they're not in proximity to actually shut down the rail lines, which was supposedly the reason why we were all forced to come all the way out here. The statement from the university president on why we are all out here as opposed to on the main campus is just absurd. His statement suggested, quote, the university hosts a wide variety of events welcoming tens of thousands of people to campus each and every day, and yet magically they somehow couldn't fit 1,000 of us on the main campus. They had to shuttle us all the way over here. He says, we strive to meet the unique needs for each and every event, and the event scheduled for later this month is no different. When working to accommodate a venue request, our top priority is and will always be the safety and security of our university community. And with that in mind, the university works with organizers to determine a location that meets everyone's needs to the best of our ability. Well, it didn't really meet the needs of the several hundred people who are on the wait list who wished they could come, but they could not because the venue is simply too small. They said this has nothing to do with ideological discrimination, which comes as a surprise considering the number of mainstream leftist speakers who have come to this campus, few of whom have actually been sent all the way out here. Now, I also appreciate that the University of Minnesota greenlit an event protesting white supremacy in the age of Trump on the main campus, an anti-racist teach-in, which is super exciting. I guess this is done in opposition to this event. It's really exciting since I'm not a white supremacist, you may notice from the Jewish headgear that I constantly wear. I was actually the top target of anti-Semitism on the internet in 2016 among journalists. And I didn't vote for Trump, so well done, guys. You were spot on that entire description. White supremacy in the age of Trump. Every single word except for in the and of is wrong. Okay, so tonight, before I go any further, I do have one further note on University of Minnesota. Apparently, you guys are supposed to have some sort of BDS vote in the next few days. For those who don't know, Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions, which is a program to get the university to divest from all companies that do business with the state of Israel. That's an anti-Semitic program. That program is designed to strike at the heart of the state of Israel, the Jewish state. The only reason anybody's even considering it is because it is the Jewish state. I am not aware of any movement on the campus here for divestment from Iran, for divestment from Afghanistan, for divestment from Indonesia, for divestment from Saudi Arabia, for divestment from Jordan, from divestment from Egypt. I'm not aware of any of those, all places with egregious human rights records. But Israel is a different story because, of course, it's filled with Jews. So before anyone votes for BDS, they should just understand exactly what it is that they are doing. They are full-scale endorsing anti-Semitism on a grand scale. All right, so now let's get to the main topic. So today's topic is capitalism and the First Amendment. And unfortunately, capitalism has gotten a really bad rap, particularly among people of our generation. I'm barely still of your generation. All right, so I'm going to hold on to that signifier as long as I possibly can. Too many young Americans don't know anything about capitalism. They don't know why it's good. They think socialism is good. There's a Harvard Institute of Politics poll in spring 2016, and it found that Bernie Sanders, that loon bag, was the only major candidate with a net positive rating among 18 to 29-year-olds. 54% viewed him favorably, compared with just 31% who viewed him unfavorably. And now they're making the argument we should lower the voting age to 16. I can't see how that goes wrong. The same poll showed that only 42% of young Americans supported capitalism. 33% said they supported socialism, as in full-scale socialism. Like 1 in 3 young Americans supports full-scale socialism. Fully 50% of all Democratic voters said they favored socialism over capitalism. 1 in 2. That's probably because young people are too young to remember when socialist nations like the USSR actually threatened nuclear destruction, when they murdered tens of millions of people. I mean, there still are some there's still some Soviet-style dictatorships, right? The communist Chinese are still imprisoning millions and billions of people under repressive, harsh rule. North Korea, obviously, is still a communist paradise where people are shipped off to gulags. But the idea of socialism has become very popular among young people. And the reason that it's become popular among young people is because they've been told that it is moral. Not that it works, not that it's great, but that it's moral. It's fair. And we all like things that are fair. If we're in a room and somebody has more money and somebody has less money, wouldn't it be more fair if we just pooled the money and then we split it up evenly among the participants? Just like the cookies in kindergarten. Except, of course, that's not the way the world works, and that's not actually moral. Because in a free country, wealth and the capacity to gain it is largely contingent on the decisions that you make. It doesn't just fall upon you. Most wealth in the United States is not inherited. Most wealth in the United States is created over the course of lifetimes by people who engage in economic activity and commerce. Capitalism is good because capitalism is freedom. Socialism is bad because socialism is tyranny. Not it's an aspect of tyranny. Socialism itself is tyranny. The statement of socialism is that your labor is owed to the society. The notion of socialism is that you do not own your own freedom. You do not own your own time. You do not own your own labor. You do not own your own work. You do not own the products of your own work. The basic notion of capitalism is you own all of those things, and now you have to engage in free exchange with someone else who does not owe you anything. If you want to thrive, if you want to succeed, you are going to have to make something somebody else wants. People think capitalism is selfishness. No, socialism is selfishness. The notion that I have to somehow supply you the money so you can sit in your basement and paint with watercolors. Socialism, the idea that I'm supposed to fulfill all your dreams by paying you for something I don't want and have no need for. But capitalism is precisely the opposite. We all do stuff in our daily jobs that we don't like. Why? Because there's a group for it who want to consume it. How many people love their daily job every day? I'm lucky. I get to go to a job that I really enjoy every day. But a lot of people don't. And you know why they do it? They do it because they understand that in a free society, they are going to have to produce something that is not entertaining and interesting only to them. If my podcast had one listener, I would have to quit podcasting. And if whatever business you go into has no customers, your business will go out of business. As I'm fond of saying, capitalism is forced altruism. It forces you to do something that somebody else wants if you want to live. Socialism is forced altruism in a different way. It's forcing your altruism to me. Right? So capitalism is about I have to be forced to do something good for you in order for me to live. And socialism is about the idea that I have to be forced to do something for you so that you can live. That's not the same thing at all. Capitalism also happens to be the most efficient system for the distribution of wealth in the history of mankind. It is the greatest it is the greatest engine for growth in the history of mankind. It is the single greatest force for the empowerment of individual human beings in the history of mankind. So, why is it unpopular after all this is said? It's unpopular because it's very easy to demagogue capitalism. Any policy that has diffuse costs and concentrated benefits is a popular policy by nature.